Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and here we are with our first episode. I'm Richard. I'll be your host for this little diorama that I've done, and we're going to the bayou as I make my Malifaux world. I'm super excited about Malifaux as it is so spooky and I love it. So here we go with starting out with the planning process, and I draw up just a quick little plan to see how we go. Here I had to make just the little outline of the actual home base itself. So the Wilcos shop, just made a little template so I could really go off that template. This was the roof, this is the ceiling of the place. This gives me a brief little outline of how large I want the space, and now I can build around that. Now it's time to set the walls up and really get a feel of what size this little outback shack is going to be like. So as you can see, I really love my popsicle sticks, and I think it's a really great way to really get creative and see what you can do with really creating something from nothing. So popsicle sticks are really fun. You can do all sorts of different shapes and sizes, cut them down to whatever size you need. And I tend to use the lengths. I'm quite easy and free going, so I'll use the size of the sticks or cut them up, or I'll do a really weird offcut and suddenly that's my cut that suits the rest of the building. So yeah, it's actually quite fun throwing in some popsicle sticks. Now you will notice that majority of the sticking that I'm doing now is with actual just basic super glue. So I could use PVA glue, your wood glue, to really stick these down and go that way, but the drying time for me, when I'm right there crafting and building and getting it all set up ready to rock and roll, I really love how quick the glue sets for super glue, especially just on a project like this where you just want to keep it going, you want to keep rolling. Nice and quick sturdy structure. It's going to be stuck in place. I'm not really going to worry about knocking it or anything like that, so I opted for the super glue way, and it just works out really good for me and what I want, really. So yeah, it just means I can just keep creating, keep flowing, and yeah, it feels really good. So these shelves that I'm doing around the place, so the base structure I thought of, okay, we need a shelf for each side of the wall. This obviously gremlin shack for sale and all these little trinkets inside. We're going to have a lot of shelves, we're going to have a lot of merchandise, it's going to be packed full of stuff, right? So it's going to be a very busy little joint. So I thought, okay, they're not going to be able to see too much inside it, so let's just at least make shelves for each of the walls. And as you'll see here, I do a large bookcase, I do a medium bookcase, and then I actually do a wall hanging bookcase sort of style to just give it a little bit more variety and a little bit something different going on for the back wall. So again, all with super glue and matching up with popsicle sticks, so it makes it nice and easy and fun to work with. So yeah, very fun. Okay, you might be wondering what this front bit is. So obviously we have the base of the store there, ready to rock and roll. It's got its bones. Now, what does every store need? It needs a front counter. And judging by the size of these gremlins, they're not too large. So what I decided to do here is do a front little counter, and it really came into its own, which was really fun to build. So as you'll see, we make the front counter and we make it a little bit of a old school whack together sort of style, and then we make some steps for the back of it. So obviously the little gremlin can't jump up there every time, so I put some little steps in to be like, okay, cool, I've thought this through. They've got a few steps to whack on the back end of it so they can actually get up and serve people at the front. So yeah, I think it made more sense than the gremlins just jumping up onto the counter every single time. So. Here we go and try and finish off the roof. Now the roof was a tricky part because I don't know which... I started at the start of this with the roof with being cool, let's do a roof, then we'll do a big front area that people and customers can come and get underneath the shade, and then they can shop for their wares and things, but it just didn't look right and it didn't suit, and you wouldn't be able to see anything on the inside with the gremlin, with this guy serving and all that sort of stuff. So I was like, nah, let's change that up a bit. So as you see, the building here, so the roof, I do make a big building, but in the end what we did was we made the roof a double roof, but then we pushed it to the back so that the gremlins, when they're on smoko, right, they can have cover out the back, or they can store their supplies at the back a bit more better under weather. And then the front side of it was more about the customer coming right into the front of the retail area and seeing him. So and the mesh on the front, so that mesh on the front was cut out of actual, fly screen material, which you can get really nice and easily at. You've probably actually got some at home. Really fantastic stuff. You can cut it out to suit whatever you want. You can do strips of it, long strips. I've obviously done a strip all the way around the side of it, just so it looks like a little bit of fly catch netting, or just some of that old school stuff that you can drop down. So really adds a bit of character to it. So yeah, really happy with how the roof came up, and you'll see the future of how the roof comes along. It's pretty awesome. Okay, here's one of my biggest lessons I learnt while doing this diorama. I went and got a hot glue gun, and I thought, oh, this would be fantastic. I'll just put the hot glue gun down on the actual, the board piece, and then I'll put my foam on top. Fantastic. What I didn't realise is that those two surfaces weren't going to go together with this hot glue gun. So, lesson learnt. Yeah, I really stuffed this one up, but then I got the old wood glue PVA out, and that saved my bacon, so that was amazing. So, lesson learnt there. The wood glue did absolutely amazing. The PVA was incredible, so we stuck to that and off we go. This is my handy little Azeto multi-tool that I just picked up for this project. Little treat to myself, and it's just got so many little parts you can do. So as you'll see here, I'll go through it. What I really love this one for is a lot of the other ones I've had in the past, they didn't have a speed setting, where this one's got a speed setting where you can make it go right down to really slow or right up to really fast. So I found that super handy with this project, and I knew with all the guttering areas and little puddles and areas like that, I wanted to make some more natural looking erosion and really round off some of the surfaces I had in the area, and this worked out perfect for that. So as you'll see when I start using it, I've got this little thing, and also it's got this really cool part extension where you add it on. It's pretty much like a pen, so you're using it to ground off areas and get into real tricky spots without having to lug the whole tool. It was fantastic. So, and I've actually got it mounted to my golf buggy, so I wheel it round with the Azeto multi-tool kit in it, and it looks like I'm at like a dental surgery, because I'm wheeling it around and I've got my little pen out, and then I start drilling and going to town. It's actually really fun. This was a really fulfilling part here, making the puddles and making the sewer lines, just the edge of the roadways there, just nice and smooth and a little bit dented in and stuff, and just making some of that extra character for the space. Really fun, so much fun. It just brought a lot of character to the piece that I really wanted. I wanted a bit of those puddles down the road, etc. So yeah, it worked in perfect. Now, who's made rocks out of tin foil before? Me. I learnt this trick when I was Easter sometime, and the family had a whole lot of tin foil saved up in some Easter, and I screwed some up, and I had to fill in a little spot on a base. So I filled it with tin foil, and then I crafted this rock on the floor with this just little basic Easter egg, and I was like, wait a second. And then I took it back and I put it on a base, and I super glued it so it was nice and hard and compact. And then I placed it down as some rocks, and now I never look back. All over my bases that I've got for my different models and figurines that I have, I've got these little rock bases, and I tend to make it out of tin foil now. So much fun. You can craft a small rock, a big rock, whatever sort of rock you need, a long rock. Really good fun, and you just compact it down so it's nice and sturdy, and then once it's ready, underneath, as long as you're setting it up on a flat surface, underneath it makes it really flat and swish, so that when you're going to stick it down, it's on a really nice flat surface. So really love tinfoil, and I'm an addict, a tinfoil addict. So once everything was stuck in place, the PVA and sort of all the stuff that I used to coat everything was all acrylic based, and then it's obviously ready to do what I want with it from then. So after I've based it all with this stuff, mix of gravel and sand mixture, I'm ready to rock and roll for spray. So I spray the whole thing black. That's off camera. I just quickly gave them a quick spray, and then I touch up with some black acrylic just to get into all the areas that I couldn't quite get to. You can just get it ready for the next part, really. What else have we got? So we also start dry brush with the browns inside there, and I mix up from dark browns right up to like a tan color. It's really good fun. I love this mixture. Makes just like a real natural looking soil, which brings out everything I need to, so it's really fun. Now all these lovely rocks that I've made out of tin foil, it's time to paint them up. So with all our base coats and undercoats on, now I just go from a dark grey, no matter what you use, a dark grey, medium grey, light grey, and even in some spots just go up with a white, with a nice light white, and just really pick out the details. And this will really make your diorama just pop a bit more. So all those stones and things you have along the ground, just that little bit of extra detail just makes them really pop and sets the scene for you. Now we get on to painting the main building. So what I like undercoating a lot of my stuff in is Dulux Metal Shield. So I'll use a lot of Dulux with mine. They've got a bunch of metal primers, and the metal primers tend to be amazing for both models, scenery, anything I want to. And they come with a couple of really good colours. So your etch primers come with black and also grey, and also a light grey. So that's pretty awesome. And then also your basic steel primers come with a red oxide, which you see this original colour here on the building. And then you've also got a really nice like dark blue, navy blue that you can also get as well. So really love these colours from Dulux, these sprays, they're fantastic. So yeah, now I'll just go through the different steps of your undercoat spray with Dulux red oxide, and then I'll just put a wash over it. I think this is like Cygor brown or something, just nice and dark. And then from there you just start dry brushing from just getting any sort of basic brown that you really like, and again leading up into those tan sort of colours is really good. I felt it made the wood feel really nice and natural. If you want it to look a little bit more aged and things, what you can do is mix in a bit of grey in there at the final steps. Do some greys, do some different lines and things like that to really bring out some character of the wood. And yeah, then you've got some really good aged timber. Now the roof is nice and easily done. It's just meant to look really dilapidated and rusty and barren and just dirty. So just a filthy. So I dry brush the outline of the ropes coming down the front at the front of the store, and then just some silver with some nice little wash over the top of it. And I just drowned it. It was just nice to just slop it on because you just need to get it nice and dirty. Now every store needs a whole lot of trinkets to sell. So what are the gremlins offering on their bar? So we've got crossbows, we've got hammers, we got bows, we got little skulls with things through them, we got potions, we got old cheese. I've got a couple of diamond ruby looking things. I've got some sword sheaths. I've got a bit of everything. Just some emblems in there just to throw around. These are meant to look like anything you'd see at like a weird goblin stall. So you've got all sorts of gems and stuff, which was really cool. Yeah, these were really fun to make, and to see these finally get put on the shelf, it just really made the inside scene really come alive, and it felt so good putting them up on those shelves. It just added a sense of, oh wow, yeah, okay, this is happening. This is good fun. And also I'll add the trinkets, like the little bits of gems and things that you see me cut out of clear things. So that's just out of, I looked over and I had the hot glue gun stuff, you know, the glue that you put in it before it's melted down. So I grabbed a bunch of them and I just literally just started clipping away, just started snipping it, and they turned into natural little gems and breads and off cheese, stuff like that. Okay, this is where I found the idea of, no, let's have the roof come to the back. The bayou gremlins can have a place for their smoko. So what do we need? Let's make some reinforcements out the back, for some goblin looking reinforcements for the roof hanging over. So obviously that's out of sticks, a little bit of rope, and obviously just some little metal bits on the side to reinforce it the old goblin way. Now, welcome to our main characters. So I got these two boxes and they just had so much character. So you've got the ones that are more like the Mudlight Whispers. So they are all about pigs and taking care of pigs and slop and all the hard yards. Then you've got the other guys, which are from the 10 Thunders. And the Brewmaster gang, they are more, I guess, Asian orientated with, they've got a lot of kung fu, they've got a lot of different things happening about them. And they're also, what I love the character about them though, is that you've got some of them drinking, you've got some of them moving around flop, you've got some that's hanging out, just literally do not care. But a few of them are lugging things around, and that was sort of perfect for the scene I was trying to make. So this worked out really, really, really good. These characters just had so much character in them. They were so much fun to paint. Oh, I cannot believe it. So much fun to paint. And then we also had another main character come through, and this was the old guy on the horse, on the donkey coming down the road. Now, he was so much fun to paint. He had so much stuff going on him. Now, a lot of textures and different things I could highlight and get some real big character out of. So much fun. So yeah, really, really good fun this next couple of this next painting part. So these are my characters coming to life and giving my diorama the life and the vibrancy it has. Thank you. It's awesome. Now, what is it about barrels that just makes a piece really come alive? I think I just really love painting wood textures and different grains of wood. it's just so much fun, and you can just really make them come, once they look really natural and nice, it's just really, you can make them pop because you get that wood grain going down. You can really put some extra work into it, and it just makes it really, really pop in that extra area. And the barrels were a little bit more of a later addition in the episode, because I didn't have any at first, and then when I decided to have them, I was like, oh, okay, well, if they're lugging stuff in from the back, out the back of the shack, we need more things there. We need more barrels or some sort of a sense of storage area at the back. So these barrels came in super handy, really good handy. So these were really fun to paint. And these are just going from browns and some greys. Then you're going over with like a real dirty wash, and then just straight up highlighting bit by bit. I think there's about 3 or 4 different layers of browns in there. And then to make the silver lining of all the metal parts, is just a light grey, and then just a really, I think a pale flesh colour. So yeah, very, very highlighted. So. Yeah, this was really fun. This is my first sort of LED. This is so basic, but I've never really done an LED light before. So I thought, let's just get like a tea light, smash it up, and see what I can make from it. And so, as you can see, I failed miserably at the start trying to break it open. And then I figured out that you just have to put something inside it and turn it, and just to pop it off. So I ended up popping it off and disassembled it and got all the parts out, and I was like, oh, how am I going to make this work? This seems so complicated. But then as I was fiddling around, I accidentally just touched the both sides to the outer and the inside of the battery. And of course that's the the positive and negative, up, going in, going down, and I was like, oh, interesting, okay. So why don't I just have that as my LED, and then what I have to do now is just make a little pocket on the inside of the roof of the ceiling somewhere in the shack, and hopefully that can shed enough light inside the shack that I should be okay for some like little bit of lighting effects, because I really did want to do a little bit of a lighting effect inside that shack. With how much detail I put inside the shack, it was really cool that I could get a little bit of shining in there. So yeah, it was definitely a learning experience, but super fun. And once I could see that I could get a light out of it, it would have been terrible if I broke it all apart, tried it, it didn't work. That would have sucked. But the fact that I actually got it working, and then all I had to do was make a little tiny cubby hole, that was actually really fun. And I know there's other little tiny LED lights out there with batteries, and I'll get to use them in the future 100%, but this was a really cool little learning little technique here that I'll definitely use this in the future, because it was just so easy. So yeah. Now, what I did do here is my building didn't have, obviously I put the grit and everything down and painted everything before I put the, the actual building into the ground. So what happened here was, okay, I'm going to have to need something to, I can't just glue the base down because it'll be uneven with rocks and things. So what I did do was cut the spiky ends off toothpicks, and then I glued them into the corners of the actual store itself. So we sort of had these sort of like, I guess you'd call it tent pegs that would be stuck into the ground, just giving our store the solid ground it needed to get stuck in and fasten to the soil itself. So and that way I could push it into the actual foam underneath without even having to make it unbalanced. So that helped out a lot. And the very last effect was putting in the tufts and also the water effect at the end to make the puddles more real and to really set the scene with a couple of flowers. A couple of tufts are on the roof as well, so some overgrown grass. Yeah, so much fun, and I think that's about it. Let's rock and roll and see over to the final product. Thank you so much. And that's my Malifaux World Episode 1, Wilco's Wares. As you can see, he's got a lot of items for sale. So thank you so much for coming along and watching this episode and supporting. If you'd like to support more, hit that like button and subscribe for future content. There's much more that I want to do, so here's just the beginning. So thank you so much.